All right, welcome back to Self-Taught Garage, where, as you can kind of see behind me, we've got another car, which I don't know if y'all have seen all these either, but there's more than this. But this is the new one directly behind me. We got a 2001 Grandam. Anyways, a guy I work with, well, this is why we bought it. A guy I work with said he had a car he wanted $400 for. He said he thought the head gasket was blue. So anyways, I talked to him about it a little bit. And I was like, I think we'll probably come and get it. So I went out there, ended up getting it off of him for $340, which is kind of an odd number, but got it for $340. And as you can see, there is literally nothing wrong with this thing. Well, the mirrors. But I got on eBay and found the mirrors for $40. And the mirrors are really the only cosmetic issue with the car. The interior's in real good shape, which I'm getting ready to show you all here in a minute once we get it into the garage. But overall, for what we paid for it, it was a great deal. It's a great car. And so far, I'm happy with it. So, it's about 40 degrees right now and raining, if it's not colder. What we're doing... Well, I just set off my car alarm. I guess what we're doing now is we're going to see how this car starts. So, give me a second and I will turn y'all around real quick. 4 pretty much new tires on it. And oh dude, I didn't even notice that. It was dark the other day when we picked it up. Headliner shot, but that ain't nothing but a thing to get fixed. Or fix. Alright, and now I gotta do the parking lot shuffle with the other cars so we get a line to the garage. So I'm gonna have to get off here and do this real quick, and then I'll get back with y'all. Alright, I got a new microphone finally, so I'm hoping that helps clean up the audio some. If it sounds a little fuzzy or you all can hear this background noise, it's pouring down rain outside, and obviously we have a metal roof, so it's kind of loud in here, but we got some parts in. This is just prep for our new dash mat, because I showed y'all the worst part of this interior is the dash. As you can see, it's kind of curled up. We got a new defroster vent as well. But what we're gonna do with the mat is, you can see where right in there, you can kind of see it cracked. Guy thought he would be able to push it down, and I told him we were gonna have to heat it, which the best way to do it is with a heat gun, but we don't have one. So what I'm gonna do is take the torch, hold it at probably back here somewhere, and just let the heat kind of radiate down there, and hopefully that'll heat it up enough that we can get it to lay down without melting anything or catching anything on fire. So like I said, I'm just gonna turn the torch on low. I'm gonna hold it at a distance and just kind of let that heat radiate down, and hopefully it'll absorb enough that we can get the dash to go back down. Once we get this cover to go down, well, I'm probably gonna shim it if it works. If it works, we're gonna end up putting a little shim or a wedge in so it'll hold it down. And then we'll get our dash mat put on over top of it, and you shouldn't be able to notice that it ever even happened. If it doesn't work, odds are I'm just gonna come in here with a body saw, just because it's the only thing small enough that I can think of to get in there. And we're just gonna cut it off right where it starts to fold over. Then we'll put this dash mat over top of it, and you shouldn't ever be able to tell. So I'm gonna get y'all set up. I'm probably gonna put you on the exterior of the car looking in, and then I'll start by getting that torch fired up, and we're gonna start getting that heat on it, and we're gonna see if that'll do it. If not, we're probably gonna make a trip to town. All right, the rain's really coming down now. So So I'm probably going to set you all up in a time lapse and just do a little music while I'm doing this, because if it was me listening, rain sound, which I'm sure sounds like static, would be driving me nuts. So enjoy this little clip here and hope you like the music. Alright, the audio might be a little different. I had to unplug the microphone and kind of swing the mount for my microphone over as a counterweight to keep this thing standing up here. So, alright, now that we got that, I'm going to hang this tape off that microphone too, give it a little more ballast. Alright, like I said, we're going to hit this with the heat, try to get it to lay down. If it doesn't stay on its own, we're going to go ahead and shoot the screws in on this side as well. Alright, my daughter wanted to get in the car, so y'all will probably see her running around, but she wanted to help. So, like I said, we're going to get going on this and try to get these clips out and get our new vent put in. Those little curved pliers are pretty good. I'm going to shine a light just so y'all can see it a little better. I know it's kind of weird watching through the windshield, but you can see we got them all out. And then angled pliers are nice. I'm not sure what the proper name for them are, but you all should get you some of these. They're great. And now what we're going to do is get our new one put in. And these pop in as simple as you get them there, line them up, and just kind of push them down, work your way around it, make sure all the clips get firmly seated. Yes, this is not the same color, unfortunately, but I was going for gray, and this on eBay, unfortunately, is what they consider gray. So what we're going to do, like I said, we're going to put this down, and we're going to get a dash match put in, and it should all match for the most part. So at least our dash mat and our vent are the same color. one, y'all can tell that is a major difference. So with that being said, now it's got to sit for 4 days, and within them 4 days, it'll allow it to settle down and form to the shape of the dash. And after that, we got to clean the entire dash with alcohol to get any grum, oil, residue, anything off. And then we take some Velcro stripping, because the underside of this mat already has Velcro in the areas that you're supposed to put the stripping. And then we stick it all together, and the dash is good. So from there, we're going to move on, and I'm going to start telling you all about our next problem. All right, so we're back on the grandam, and anyways, there was a cracked thermostat housing that I'm pretty sure has already been put in. And what we're working on, or what they're working on now, is the headliner. The headliner was coming down in this, which I'm pretty sure I've shown y'all earlier in the video. It's been a couple days since then, but anyways, they got the headliner out. And when you go to remove the headliner, something you have to do is there's a lot of like foam-like material. You got to clean that off, so you can put glue on it and to glue down the fabric. So I'm gonna get the camera turned around and I'll show y'all what I'm talking about. So as you can see, you got the shop vac, because this makes a heck of a mess, which I mean you can see a little bit on the floor. But take a wire brush or a nylon brush, depending. This one was pretty stuck on there, so they took a wire brush to it. You just scrape it loose, and then you take your shop vac and just suck up what's left. And in the end, you're gonna end up with this. It's just like a clean piece of fiberglass. And what I got to use, last time I used industrial cement, but this time I decided to try like a spray Gorilla Glue. And I'm hoping that that's gonna actually work. We don't know, or I don't know yet, because this is relatively porous, but there's still some decent flat areas. Like, as you can see when I get down there, there's still a decent surface for the glue to stick on. The only thing I'm thinking that we might have to do is possibly spray a layer of glue down, let that dry, then put another layer on top. And that'll help get some of these porous areas filled up, and that'll make it a little bit smoother for that glue to stick to. And anyways, once you do that, you take your paint roller with just a random head on it, and you can use that to put the downward pressure on as you roll out the fabric flat. Then in areas like this with the holes, you cut an X or a star, however you have to do it, to get it to fold under to the other side. And you also glue it onto that side, because once you put it into the car, if you roll it over onto the other side, once the headliner is back up and in place, it will actually hold itself there even if the glue comes loose, which we'll show you that when we get further along. But for now, we're going to get back to it, and I'll bring y'all back when there's some progress to show. Alright. As you can see, we're starting to spray the glue down, and we're using the Gorilla adhesive spray. It's heavy duty. It says bonds to cardboard, fiberglass, fabric. So, like I said, where this is porous, like I said, we're putting down a relatively heavy coat in certain areas. And then especially in the lighter colored areas where they're kind of shaped, we're putting down a good heavy coat in there. So we're just trying to work our way all the way around the edges very good. And from there, you can see how he's going across the rest of it. And patience is the name of the game with this. The more time you take, the better you try to get it to lay, the better you get the fabric to contact the glue and this headboard, the better it's going to look when you're done. Like I said, you can use industrial cement, but if you do it, you want to brush it relatively thin. And with certain fabrics, you have to be very careful because the glue will soak through. So you don't want to be going and getting a very decorative fabric if it's the thickness of like bed sheets. So what we are using is, it's a piece of fleece. And then if this didn't work, I actually bought another material that is an outdoor material. So in other words, it's like your tent. It's got this nylon looking stuff on the back, and this front side's kind of a fabric, because I just knew that would contact the surface very well. Like I said, always try to give yourself options. Fabric's really cheap. For instance, this piece of fleece was $5.53, and that was for 1 1/3 yards. So roughly 4.5 to 5 feet by 5 to 6 foot. And that was enough to cover what we're doing. And you always want to have overlay with the fabric, which we're about to show you. And as you can see, with 2 people, you do your best to lay it down evenly, and you want enough, like I said, to be able to fold over afterwards. So, and you see here how the edges stick first, then you start in the middle and start working your way out, all while pressing it down smooth and flat. And it's like I said, the more time you take, the more careful you are, the better you're going to get this to look regardless, because no matter what, it is going to look better than the factory headliner that was coming down and looking like doo. And all in all, we have $17 invested in this. That is roughly what it costs. So for under 20 bucks, you can redo your headboard in whatever vehicle you like. This we are doing just as a flip. We bought it cheap. We're cleaning it up because it needed some cosmetics. It has low mileage and it needed a few mechanical repairs. But overall, we're in this entire car with everything we're doing for about $600. And it turned into a very quick $2,000 sale. At least that's our goal. I'll let you know when we do end up selling it, if it was all for nothing or if it worked out. But as you can see, I'll turn on the light just so you can see a little better. This is really turning out good. Dude, that's a little too tight, man.
That thing goes in, it's a pocket that goes over it too.
There it is.
Hold on.
That. Alright, we'll bring you all back in a minute and show you the next step of getting this to lay down. Alright, so now we've got the heat on in here. We're letting this dry for a minute before we flip it over. And then we glue this onto the back side, and we got to cut it in certain areas to get it on lay flat. The reason you want to do that is so even if the glue starts to let go down the road, everywhere that this is glued and folded under to the back side, it will still be held in place without coming loose like the factory headliners do and getting all over the top of your head and driving you crazy. And of course, after that, we got to go through, and everywhere there's an opening in here for wiring or for something to mount, we have to cut it. Like I said earlier, you cut it an X, a star, whatever you have to do to get it to fold under and glue to the back side so that the holes are open and easily accessible. Alright, so this is the new thermostat housing. I thought they'd already gotten to it, but they hadn't. Something about these, it doesn't even house a thermostat, if you all can read that. It says thermostat located at water pump. So it's kind of odd that it's called a thermostat housing. But the old one, you can kind of see it's got gasket maker on it. That little ridge right there has been worn out. And on this one, that ridge has an O-ring, which that one does not. And it actually has an area for the O-ring to sit. So this thing's definitely had better days. We initially thought it was cracked, but now we're starting to think it may have just been due to that O-ring missing. So we're about to put it back in because we also bought a thermostat. We thought the thermostat was the problem, but it is not. So the only things we got to do before we put this back in is we got to take out the temperature sensor and get that put back in there, and we're going to put some thread tape on it, I believe.
It's got some still on it. That's not old.
Yeah. Just to make sure it seals up, and other than that, gonna get it put back in there, get this thing filled back up with fluid, and hope we have stopped this overheating issue. If not, I guess next thing is we're gonna be taking off the water pump to find that thermostat. And yes, we're getting back to this, but we're doing this while we give that time to dry completely. Because like I said, when we pull that tight on the back side, we do not want the front side to come loose. So you want to give yourself time for it to dry completely. And I just finished that piece for the trunk, and I'm letting it cool off now because it got rather hot in the grinder, but we're about to reassemble that too. And as you can see, we also got our new mirrors put on the car. So this thing's starting to come together a lot quicker than we expected. So, I kind of jumped there from us still working on the car to the car being finished, but we were just trying to get it knocked out relatively quick, get it out of the garage, because honestly, we kind of lollygagged for about a week on it before we got real serious into finishing it up. But as you can see, we've got it done. We've got it listed on the internet, and we have got it written on the windshield. But overall, we've waxed the car. It poured down rain last night, and it's been sitting under a tree, so it's already got some poo on it from the birds. But all in all, the exterior of the car, as you can see, it looks great. Then onto the interior, because I haven't shown you all the new headliner and sun visors, but there's our dash mat and everything. We got it down, sitting the way it's supposed to be. We still have not cleaned out the interior fully, and I drove the car home last night. So, I mean, we still got to vacuum and shampoo the carpets, but all in all, you can see my mask for the coronavirus. All in all, it looks pretty good. We changed the roof from tan to gray. We got tan visors now, which have been replaced, and they are in very good condition actually. But all in all, as you can see, the cars actually came out pretty nice. We've got the trunk fixed, which I didn't tell you all about that, but let me get the keys here. The issue with the trunk was the latch on the trunk was not allowing the trunk to open, and no one makes an aftermarket electronic release. So this release here, as you can see, it does have wiring. It is electronic. There's a button inside the car. You can hit the button and it'll pop the trunk. The issue right now is I had to make that little metal rod inside there. As you can see, that right there, that goes from the latch up to the key lock. And so we got that working so we can at least open the trunk with the key. And before, we couldn't get it open at all, so we had to drill the lock and everything. We replaced the lock and the seal, so we got that taken care of. But all in all, it turned out relatively nice. So it went from a $300 car to a $2,000 car, or $2,500 car. My goal is $2,000 at minimum, but if I can get more than that, I'll be happy. So I hope you all enjoyed this little quick series on this car, this little quick video. And maybe it'll motivate you to flip some cars on your own. But remember, this is Self-Taught Garage. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see y'all on the next one.